Esto que tengo detrás de mí justo es la Corte Suprema, donde se está juzgando a Donald Trump, aunque ahora mismo, hoy, no está aquí.
Es súper curioso como detrás de mí hay una persona que está en contra de Trump cantando y otra persona justo delante de él interrumpiéndole con una bandera y gritando a tope. Es muy curioso cómo están los dos luchando.
He didn't weaponize the justice system against his political opponents. This is a third world country. You're here because of we're devolving into a third world country. You think about that.
Ese día en la Corte Suprema, el abogado de Donald Trump estaba declarando, y como podéis ver, había gente tanto a favor como en contra del presidente. Estar allí en ese momento era súper interesante. Así que vimos una oportunidad en primera mano de preguntar a gente local y que nos explicase por qué el juicio era tan importante y por qué generaba tanta expectación, ya que a su vez Donald Trump se estaba presentando para las elecciones y volver a ser presidente de Estados Unidos de nuevo. Así que os dejamos la entrevista íntegra y esperemos que os guste.
Bueno, estamos justo en la Corte Suprema y estamos con dos personas que nos van a explicar acerca de lo que está pasando con Donald Trump. Thank you very much. We are from Spain. So sometimes in Spain we didn't receive the news properly.
Okay.
So when we arrived here, we saw what's going on here, but we would like to know a little bit more clear idea about what's going on here. So it's anything that you can clarify to us?
Okay. Basically, this is about Trump, former President Trump, trying to claim immunity for electoral crimes. He's trying to say that because he was president, and he tried to say that all of the things he did, to try to overturn the election, were official acts, and that official acts of a president, should have immunity. It's a nonsensical argument. It'll remain to be seen what the Supreme Court does with it. But for Trump, it is basically a delaying tactic. That has been his on every case where, from the New York cases to this case to the one in Georgia, he just tries to delay. His hope is if he is elected, which hopefully he's not, but if he's elected, he could make those cases go away because he would be in charge of the Justice Department would be under him. So.
Okay. And what do you think about that?
I agree with him completely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw it one step further is that when you have a judge that is not impartial, then that tips the scale of justice. So it is no longer a fair balance when you have a justice that has already been either paid for by his rich benefactors or his wife is directly involved in the crimes which the former president was accused of.
Okay.
So the justice can't be.
That's who Ginny is.
That's who Ginny is. Ginny is Clarence Thomas's wife.
Okay.
As she was directly involved in some of the Trump's planning to commit crimes. So she has firsthand knowledge. She's involved. And this law, 20 U.S. Code 455, says Clarence Thomas must recuse. He's not supposed to be sitting on this. And he's doing it anyway. Clarence Thomas is committing a crime. You can't have justice if you have corrupt Supreme Court justices.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Supreme Court does not have the regulations and laws that lower courts have. So the fact
They are subject to this law.
right
Okay, so the next election is going to be quite soon, right?
in November 5th. Yes.
Okay, so how important can be a case like that? Because he's an ex-president and maybe can be next president again. So how important is this case for
Well,
you?
for the United States, and I'd say for the world, really, it's incredibly important, because it's, Joe Biden, for all, being old and, whatever else people want to say about him, he's the one thing standing in the way of an authoritarian taking over the United States government. Trump was, terrible before, but if, he's learned his lessons. So they actually have a plan where they plan to lop off the entire top of the federal government and put in cronies who, sign pledges. Yes, I will do, whatever Trump says. Basically turning into authoritarian, if you want, fascist government. And I think it's really important to stop that.
Is anything that Trump can be in the future, if he's a president, can have any kind of humility to keep all these cases apart and don't be judged anymore?
I think a really great example, it came up at the appeals court hearing when the appeals court judge asked Trump's lawyers, said, all right, so you're saying official acts that a president could do what they want. And they brought up an example. They said, okay, what if the president orders SEAL Team 6, which is an official act of order from the president to SEAL Team 6, to go and assassinate your political rivals? Would that president then be immune? Would he have immunity? And they argued, yes, he would, unless he was first impeached. But of course, it brought up the question, well, if you kill enough of your political rivals, you won't be impeached. And it also, like, if you did it at the end of your term, you could walk away scot-free. And they were actually arguing that. And it's like, what have we come to, as a country, in a country where we think, we're a country of laws? That's a country of anarchy.
And I have just the last question, because I don't want to bother you. What happened if Trump become guilty? Is he's gonna be allowed to go to the election and be a president again, or if he's guilty, he cannot be a president again?
Well, technically, he already can't be. If you read the Constitution, the 14th Amendment says that anybody who has broken their oath, who has sworn the oath to protect the Constitution and breaks it, can't be president. So technically, he can't be. They've already ruled. They kind of wishy-washied on it. He has already been. Let me get it for you here.
That was the case they had about 2 months ago.
They had a case, Colorado versus Norm Anderson, 23-696, where they determined Trump was an oath-breaking insurrectionist. If you read the United States Constitution, you say if you're an oath-breaking insurrectionist, it takes a 2/3 majority of Congress to say you are allowed to hold office again.
Okay.
So technically, Congress would have to pass an act in order to allow him to be president. And they haven't done that. Well, the Supreme Court says, no. They have to pass a law to stop him from being president. The Supreme Court got it wrong. And the Supreme Court got it wrong according to a guy named Lawrence Tribe, who is Harvard's greatest constitutional law professor. He said they got it wrong. It's not just me.
Okay.
Yeah. So given that the Supreme Court said he can run, even if he is convicted of a major crime, bizarrely, that was one thing the founders of the U.S. Constitution didn't think about. They didn't imagine a president being, convicted of, major crimes. So bizarrely, he could still run, and bizarrely, actually, get into office. Even if he's in jail, which is insane. Luckily, many Americans who have, Americans on one hand, you have really hardcore Trump people, you have, hardcore people who will never vote for Trump. But you have a lot of these people who blow in the wind like this. Yeah. And a lot of those people who blow in the wind said they would not vote for anyone who was convicted of a crime.
Okay.
So that's our great hope.
Can make a huge difference in the future.
Yeah. So it is, and see the problem with this, even if they come down, and we listened to two people who were in the hearing. One guy said, "Oh yes, they're going to give him immunity." Of course, that guy he was a proto-fascist, and then this older guy said, "No, that's not going to happen at all." But regardless of what they do, they will probably take a good amount of time, and the more time they take, the more time that trial can't happen. It's already. Even if they said today, it would be difficult to have that trial go because of all. They have to give months ahead of time, for the other side to, make preparations and stuff.
Okay.
So,
thank you very much for giving us an idea, and maybe Spanish people can know a little bit better what's going on in here. Okay. So thank you very much for your time.
Is this your first time in DC?